Okay, this is lesson 1.2, and today we're going to be talking about exponents and powers. When we finish, I want you to be able to evaluate expressions that contain exponents, and I also want you to be comfortable using exponents in life problems. So first, let's look at the following expression. And notice I'm saying this is an expression because it does not contain an equal sign. I have 2 to the 4th power. So this expression that we're looking at is called a power. Now when I look at this, one thing I want you to be clear of is the parts of it. So the 2 would be called the base, and the 4 would be called the exponent. So what this means, this is kind of a shorthand. So instead of writing 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, we're able to use a shorthand and we can say, okay, I've got 4 2's that are multiplied together. That's 2 to the 4th power. I don't know about you, but I'd much rather write 2 to the 4th power than 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. It's just going to make everything a little easier for you, especially when those exponents get a little larger. Now let's look at the different forms that we've got. We have exponential form. Now most of the time you're not going to see this as 10 to the 1st power as exponential form. You're not going to see that. It's really going to be written as just 10. We don't write the 1 as an exponent. I like to say that math people are efficient, and that 1 doesn't change anything, so there's no need to write it. So the meaning for this one, we would just, words, it would just be 10, or you could say 10 to the 1st power. And once again, the meaning is just 10. Now this one we have 4 to the 2nd power, or whenever you have an exponent of 2, we normally say squared. So this would be written in words as 4 squared. So in words, it's 4 squared, or 4 to the 2nd power. And that just means that I have 4 times 4. Now the next one, I have 5 to the 3rd power. We also write this one a special way. We would say that's 5 cubed. So 5 cubed and 5 to the 3rd power have the exact same meaning. Just two different ways to say the same thing. So I'd write that as 5 times 5 times 5 is what that really means. Now the next one I have is 7 to the 6th power. So I would just write that out. And 7 to the 6th power simply means that I have 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. So I much prefer the shorthand. And I only have an exponent of 6. I'm not even up to a large exponent yet. Now the last one I have is x to the nth power, because you're going to have some variables in this as well. So we would just write x to the nth power. And when we use n, that just means it's some number, we just don't know what that number is. And you'll see that a lot in different formulas. Okay, now let's go ahead and evaluate one. I have x to the 3rd power when x is equal to 5. So wherever I have an x, I'm going to plug in 5. So I really have 5 to the 3rd power. Oh, 5 to the 3rd power means that I have 5 times 5 times 5, and I want to see what that is. I know that 5 times 5 gives me 25. Now what's 25 times 5? Okay, so 25 times 5 does give you 125, and that's your solution. Now I want you to do the next one, x to the 3rd power when x is equal to 3. Hit pause, and then I want you to come back and check your answer. Okay, when you did this one, I hope you wrote 3 to the third power. Now that's my shorthand for saying I've got 3 times 3 times 3. I know that 3 times 3 gives me 9. Got this other 3 I have to multiply. 9 times 3 is 27. And that's your solution. Now I've got 2 to the x when x is equal to 4. It's okay for your exponent to be a variable. So the process is going to be exactly the same. So we have 2 to the fourth power, which just means I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. This 2 times 2 is 4. Oh, it's 4 times 4. 16. And that's your answer. Okay, now we're going to take a look at grouping symbols. One thing that's key for you to remember is that if you have parentheses or brackets, you have to take care of those operations inside of there first. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. I have parentheses 3 times 4 plus 7. The first thing I have to take care of is 3 times 4. 3 times 4 gives me 12. Now what's 12 plus 7? 19. And I'm finished. Now look at this one. This one's a little different. I still have the same essential problem, but my parentheses are in a different location. So now I'm going to take care of 4 plus 7. What's 4 plus 7? Okay, that's 11. Now what's 3 times 11? That's right, that's 33. I have the exact same numbers, the exact operations. The only thing that's different is the location of my parentheses. That's something that you need to be very aware of when you're working your problems. Now let's evaluate a couple of expressions. We want to evaluate the expression when a is equal to 1 as b is equal to 2. Notice that the only thing that's different in these two problems is the location of the parentheses. Oh, we've got a little exponent difference too, but not too much. Now for the first one, I have a is 1, so I have 1 plus my b value is 2, and that information is squared. I have to take care of what's inside these parentheses before I do anything else. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now what is 3 squared? 3 times 3 is 9. Now let's take a look at the other one. I have a squared plus b squared. My a value is 1, so I have 1 squared plus 2 squared. Well, what's 1 times 1? Oh, that gives me 1. Now what is 2 squared? Remember, that's my shorthand for 2 times 2. So what's 2 times 2? That's 4. What's 1 plus 4? That's right, that's 5. So far it's going pretty good. Okay, now I've got to give you a warning. An exponent only applies to the number, the variable, or expression immediately to the left. So let's take a look at this. So I have 2x to the third power. This, or 2x cubed, however you prefer to say it. The only thing that would be cubed would be this x value. Notice there's a slight difference in the next one. I have parentheses 2x cubed. 2x is cubed this time. So over here, x is cubed. Over here, the entire thing is cubed because of the parentheses. The parentheses tells you that 2x, I have 2x times 2x times 2x. Now this last one, I have 5 times 2 to the fourth. What is the only thing that's raised to the fourth power? The 2. The only thing I raised to the fourth power is the 2. This is going to be something that we're going to hit on later on in the year as well. Now let's evaluate the expression when x is equal to 2. I have 4x cubed. So I have 4. I see x is 2. So I have 4 times 2 to the third power. So I have 4 times, let's see, 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So I really have 4 times 8. Now what's 4 times 8? 32. Now let's do the next one. Notice the only difference is this one does not have parentheses and this one does. So now I have 4 times 2, close parentheses, because remember x is 2, and that's to the third power. 4 times 2 is what? 8. So now I have 8 to the third power. So I have 8 times 8 times 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. 64 times 8 is 512. Okay, that's all we have.